quite often it can look green, I think, just because there is quite a lot of moisture in the air, so we're not really seeing that. But you can certainly now see, I was struggling to see that because I thought, oh, with that smell we should be able to see the urine on his legs. And then just as it caught the light, you can see the glistening at the back. And again, that just lets other bulls know, you know what, I'm in full lust, don't stand in my way if you want. And must is an Urdu word meaning intoxicated, because the males can lose control. It looks like he's got a tick just above his eye. Is it a tick, or it could be just a bit of mud? Yeah, maybe just a bit of splashing of mud. Hi, Virginia in Kentucky. Welcome on board this morning. And Virginia noticing that he's got a couple of holes. And you can see the hole on his right ear is quite an odd shape. So he could have caught it on a branch, especially a thorn tree. He might just have snagged it if he'd opened his ear pretty wide and flapped his ear. He might just have snagged it. But the one on the left looks fairly round. Now, if he's been to the boundaries of the reserve, it could be that someone was taking a pot shot at him. Sometimes that does happen. Especially on the boundaries. So if they do have a nice round hole, it could be an old wound. It more so in years gone by. You don't hear of it really happening nowadays, but as I say, I think this elephant's probably in his 40s, so it could have happened years ago. And then obviously as the elephant grows older, that wound just doesn't heal. So there's a couple of ways it can get it. Sometimes you'll see the tears in the ears, let's say from branches. Now, as I said before, you do sometimes get the ears being folded out, so they look really large and they'll hold the head up, and that is a threatening display. But what he's doing now is actually just cooling his blood down, because as I say, the temperature is still fairly warm this morning. I mean, I'm certainly feeling it, and the humidity. So he's just flapping his ears just to help cool the blood down. You might be able to see all the veins and arteries in his ears, especially at the edges of his ears. And they can pump 6 litres of blood a minute in each ear. And that can help to cool down the blood as much as 3 degrees. And it'll be pumped back around the body to keep him cool. So you have to look at the whole thing. So even though, yes, he's flapping his ears now, he's not looking at us, he's still feeding, he's carrying on his behaviour, so that's still not threatening towards us. Hi Tam in Colorado, good to have you on board. And I've often wondered this myself, Tam, if bull elephants, oh Pam, sorry, Pam. Need to sort my hearing out. I need elephant ears, I think. But welcome on board this morning, Pam. And as I said, I've often wondered this, and I've not experienced bull elephants finding or responding to females in estrus who aren't in must themselves, and I can't see why they wouldn't if they're close by. But bulls in must, that's the only thing on their mind, or one of the only things. The only thing on this boy's mind at the moment is finding breakfast. But it could be that there's no females in this area that are in estrus. But if there was if there were females in the area that are in estrus, then you pretty much would go and find them. But being in must does give them that edge, and as I say, there's that bravado. And the females will decide if they want to mate with those males. So I think obviously the testosterone, they'll be able to pick up on that as well, and they'll be able to see for themselves who is a nice strong bull. And if their daughters are coming into estrus for the very first time, they'll actually help the daughter through that process. The elders will actually pick out a suitor for her, and they'll almost just be with her and hold her hand almost through the process. Because they could pick a nice beautiful bull like this if he turns up, and especially if they, just coming into estrus around the late teens, early 20s for the very first time, then he's going to dwarf that female. See, he's being very gentle, just picking up the maroon fruits from the floor. You can see they've got the two fingers on the end of the trunk, one above and one below the opening. It just goes to show they can be so dexterous with their trunk. They can just pick up a single blade of grass if they want. Dexterous, is that the right word? Am I just making up a word now? But they're capable of doing very intricate things with that trunk. Yeah, I was going for dexterous, but dexterous, I suppose you could use it in that context, couldn't you? Hi Adam, welcome on board. Adam's from Boston this morning, and good to hear from you. Now, for those of you who would like to ask questions, I did forget to remind you first thing this morning, if you would like to ask questions, it's questions@wildearth.tv, or you can send them through to the Twitter account at #SafariLive. And because we are live, you can ask anything that you were seeing on the screen. You can ask about it, as you've heard just now while we've been watching the elephant. A lot of elephant questions coming through. But you'd like to know if elephants, or how often elephants come into must throughout the year. And again, it will depend on the individual. They'll go through must, and also it'll depend on how long the must lasts. Sometimes the must can last a couple of weeks, sometimes it can last a few months, and it'll depend on the age of the animal as well. And it seems to last a lot longer as they're younger, and as they get older it seems to, that the time decreases, but then they may go for a few months and then go into must again. And I think a lot of it will be to do with when they've mated as well. So if they've mated fairly recently, they might not come into must again for a few months. But there's a lot of what and ifs. There's no, yes, they will come into must every 2 months. It will last 1 month. It's not really like that. There's a lot of dependence. You can see that urine at the back of the legs there, and we're not downwind. The wind has actually dropped, so I'm not smelling him now. How would you describe that urine smell? It wasn't urine, it was more a musty smell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It had almost like a sweet scent to it, I think. Not quite like fermented fruit, but certainly that sweet flavour almost. But he is a beautiful gentleman. You can see the bark on the other side of that marula tree where somebody has been taking the bark off, just on the right there. Hi Joe, interesting question there. And with the urine being on the legs, are you going to give us a walk by, mister? Wait, no, a few more fruits there. Hello, beautiful boy. Yeah, I can see you've got a bit of mud up there, hey? Wow, look at this. Hello, mister. Yeah, I'm not a female Ellie, thank you. There's no need to play with the vehicle, thank you. No need. Come on, mister. Come on. Thank you very much. Wow. Wow. Ooh, heart is pounding.
Heart is beating.
I was saying we were quite a distance from him. Just showing us that he is the stronger of the two of us, and I have no doubt about that. Oh, there's another Ellie in the distance. I was going to say, he didn't need to prove it to us, but apparently in his mind he did. Yeah, this one you can see the tusks are a lot thinner than the other male. We've got a nice view of those tusks. Oh, there you go, he's actually turned around. Let me just see if I can back up a little bit. And it could just be that he was smelling something and just making sure that I wasn't a female elephant. So I just kept reminding him, no, we're not, thank you. You can see this young bull's walking quite slowly towards this old man. Drove Juma flat yesterday looking for tracks, so I'm hoping they'll come out the woodworks. Now it could have been the leopards went to ground because of the lions passing through the area, so maybe we'll have some lion activity. It sounds like there's no one else out this morning, so we'll have to try and cover the ground ourselves. It's always helpful if there's a few game drive vehicles out because we can all cover little bits and pieces.